My name is Nathaniel Dodson, and in today's Illustrator tutorial, we're going to learn how to create cool custom shadows for really any object. We're going to use text today, and we're going to do it using the blend tool and all the powerful little tweaks that it will afford us when we're creating shadows. So enough talking about it. Let's jump into Illustrator and look at it. All right, here we are in our happy place in Adobe Illustrator, and let's add a shadow to the word shadows. Now, you might be thinking, oh, effects, stylize, throw a drop shadow on it. No, my friend, we're going to do a different kind of shadow. There are those shadows that continue right off the artboard. That's the type of shadow we're going to do, but you can really do a million different things with this kind of shadow. So I have here on this layer just the text. It is still live editable text. If you like, you can right-click and convert it to outlines. Either way will work. I'm going to convert it to outlines because I just like outlines. And then I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to go Edit Copy and then choose Edit Paste and Back. And I'm going to fill this with black. So I'm going to hit the little black swatch up here in my color panel. And I'm going to copy this and paste it behind again. Edit Copy, Edit Paste and Back. And bada boom, we have two black bits of text beneath our yellow text. So now what we need to do is drag this bottom piece of text kind of wherever we want the shadow to go. So let's just say we want a simple shadow that drops straight down. Great. Let me zoom in a little bit here so we can really see what's going on. I'm going to select both of these black layers so I can actually just hide the yellow text. Drag a selection over both black bits of text. And we go Object, Blend, Make Blend. Now, what we've got here is this continuation where the Illustrator's taken both of those end shapes and created a bunch of copies of that in between. And if we turn on the front text, you can see we have this really cool shadow effect, but it gets better than that. There's so much more you can do. Check this out. We can select the blend here. We can go Object, Blend, and choose Blend Options. And here under Blend Options, I currently have this set to specified steps and 250 of them. You may have something that's more like 3, and let's turn on Preview. So you're probably seeing something like this, and it's all choppy and funky and wonky. Well, we probably don't need 250 for this small little span that we're bridging. Maybe 35 will do the trick. You can see there, Illustrator has to create many less steps, and we get the same exact effect. We can hit OK, and there we have it. Now, of course, there's a lot you can do in terms of controlling this. We could take the blend, and we could say, hey, entire blend, go to 30% opacity, boom, and we have this shadow. And you can use your navigator panel or something like that to really get a good look at how the text is looking. But what if we want the shadow to sort of fade off into nothingness? Well, we can do that too. Let's just select the blend and bring it back to 100% opacity. So you can open up the blend and you can edit or tweak one or the other part of the blend. So I could take the bottom bit of text here and say, all right, just the bottom text, I want you to go to 0% opacity. And you can see we have this fading effect. Now, it does look absolutely terrible here in Illustrator, but this is just a product of, it's kind of an Illustrator glitch in at least the current version of Illustrator. If you were to export this text, it would look good. In fact, if I go and open up my navigator panel here, you can see this gives us a proper rendition of what it will look like. So of course, we can take the entire blend at this point and say, you know what, we want to just reduce the opacity, maybe knock it down around 50%, and now we have this nice fading shadow. I'm going to close the navigator for a second here. Let's undo this a few times, bring it back to just kind of that full black shadow, and I'm going to go Object, Blend, and I'm going to choose to release this blend back to just those two pieces of artwork, right? Then I'm going to take the bottom shadow and I'm going to move it off to the side. Like, let's move it over here, and then we're going to select both of these black pieces of artwork. We're going to go Object. We're going to say, hey, Blend, go ahead and make the blend. And we may need to increase the steps. Doesn't look like it. It looks pretty good and pretty smooth there. The reason I moved this off to the side is because I want this path as well here. You can see we have our two pieces of text and a path. Now, we can edit this path to do all sorts of cool things. Let's add some color here first. Let's go with maybe like a, do we want to go like green? Let me open up my swatches panel. Let's go with maybe a bit of a flatter yellow. And then for the bottom part, we'll go with maybe a red or an orange. Something like that might be kind of cool. Maybe a dark green. What about a dark green? That looks kind of cool over this. So now this makes the text look pretty plasticky and not necessarily shadowy. So maybe I'll take that bottom piece of shadow, knock the opacity down, but we know that that's really going to affect us negatively. You can see that looks awful. Once again, we go to our friend, the Navigator panel, and we can see that it looks pretty decent. I may leave the navigator panel out here for the duration of this tutorial and work in this tiny little window. And you know what, as I'm looking at this, I think I do want to go back to just black on top because I want to kind of make a moving shadow. So how do we make a moving shadow, and what do I mean by that? Well, we've just been playing around with the text within the blend. We can also select the path, which you can see is just this little line here, and we can use our direct selection arrow, and we can grab one of the points of the path and we can stretch it out to make the path change direction or get longer or shorter or anything like that. We can also use the anchor point tool, which is underneath your pen tool, and we can curve this. So we can make our shadow kind of curve and sort of turn into these trail lines or whatever, and we can do a lot of really cool things with it. So that's one interesting thing you can do when creating shadows this way. And of course, you can still select the entire blend and say, you know what, knock this thing down to like 35% opacity, and there's what we have in terms of our shadow like that. One of the other really cool things you can do here, let me just undo this a few times just to back it up and get us back to at least a straight shadow, something like that. You can select the shape of text in the back. Right now, it's the one we have set to 0% opacity. We can select that, and we can make sure you're using your black arrow, not the direct selection here, and we can change the size of this. So we could say hold down our Alt or Option key and make it really wide and flat, and then maybe pinch it down so it's really tiny. So we get kind of this crazy effect. You can see up here what's going on with our shadow. It's almost this, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just this cool effect that you're going to get. And of course, we could select the overall blend, reduce the opacity once more. And just so you know that I'm not lying to you, let's export this, what we've created thus far. And we're going to do that by going File, Export, Export for Screens. I'm going to just export the standard PNG. I'm going to throw it here onto my desktop, and I'm going to hit Export Artboard. And if I pop out to my desktop, there you have it. There is the artwork which we've exported from Adobe Illustrator. And you can see it's just that nice shadow. It doesn't have all that weird stutter steppiness that we're seeing, whatever that render issue is in Illustrator. And of course, you can go in and you can tweak and adjust any of these. We could take this bottom group and we could change the color of it. We could make it like a hot pink if we wanted. And you can see that's going to add kind of that pinky look to our shadow. Of course, we can do the same thing with the top. We can add a darker pink purple color up there, maybe kind of that dark hot pink. But the point is, there's a whole lot you can do here, and you can just have a lot of fun making all sorts of different shadow effects, even sort of 3D type effects with the blend tool here in Adobe Illustrator. And of course, you can always select the blend, object, blend, blend options, tick on preview, and you can try all sorts of different things. Maybe up the specified steps, maybe go ahead and change the orientation, see if that does anything cool. You can change specified distance to crunch things together. Smooth color, I don't know, it doesn't usually work too well, but specified steps is a great way to go, and you can play around with it and have all kinds of fun, creating shadows and shapes and all sorts of good stuff like that right here in Adobe Illustrator. Well, that's it for this one, folks. If you enjoyed this tutorial, number one, subscribe and tick on the notification bell, of course. And check out this video that just appeared on screen here. It's all about creating this cool, bubbly, 3D looking text, also in Adobe Illustrator. I think you'll really like it if you like this video. And just a reminder that I love all the people who watch these videos, but especially I love people like you who watch all the way to the end. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Get it, got it, good. Nathaniel Dodson, tutvid.com. I'll catch you in the next one.